We're waiting for a couple of members, so stand by. Good afternoon, committee. Thanks for your patience. This time of the year, this is the last day we're meeting till turnaround, and so other committees in front of us go long. Mine went long. Other committee went long, and so we wanted to get those taken care of. With that, I need a favor, and so we'll ask that in just a little bit. And if not, I guess the chairman will have to do something. But anyway, we have final action on one bill today, and we also have a couple of informational briefings. If you saw today, you saw a lot of young folks with the blue jackets on, and the state officer team is here, and we will have them come up in just a moment. And also, we also have the president of the State 4-H Council is here, and so she will talk a little bit about 4-H. And so you saw a lot of young folks. Hopefully you had lunch. Somebody said I think there were 5 different lunch choices. So I'm not sure what you all got, but I kind of deconstructed it, so the sandwich is in the refrigerator. But thank you, Kansas 4-H, for that. And nothing else was eaten either. So as you can tell, I can wait a little bit. So anyway, with that, we will go to final action. We're going to do that first. Final action on House Bill 2331. That is designating Lehigh Portland State Park. And so we call upon Kyle Hamilton, when you're ready, to do a quick just overview of this bill.
Well, in all honesty, Mr. Chairman, I feel like you did a great job of just summarizing it by saying the short title. This bill would designate Lehigh Portland State Park and thus add it to the state park system. Thanks.
All right. Fiscal note, I didn't bring my computer. I forgot. You have it? Okay. The fiscal note, $50,000 from Parks Fee Fund and $200,000 spent on developing a master plan to determine which should be included, which service should be included in the park. Design and building construction, 5 to 7 million. Need 2 more FTEs. Paid 80% from federal funds, 20% from the agency, the park fee fund. The agency has requested the entire project amount from the SPARK, the Strengthening People and Revitalization Kansas Economic Development Grant, but has not received verification of that yet. If the proposal is approved, funds will pay for the entire project, including the $50,000 paid initially from the parks fee fund. So there we go. That is there. Committee, what is your wishes on House Bill 2331? Representative Gardner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that the committee take final action on House Bill 2321 designating Lehigh Portland State Park and pass it favorably.
2331?
2331.
Yeah, very good. Second by Schlangen-Siepen. I got it right. Didn't I?
You and I were just competing.
Okay. See how long it takes. 3 days in a row. Yes. Is my mic on at all? Did you miss all that? Oh, no. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So Representative Gardner has moved House Bill 2331, second by Schlangen-Siepen. Discussion. Representative Blacks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I basically support this. I guess I'm a little disappointed in the fact that we didn't have some visitation numbers. We didn't have a management plan. We didn't have a hazardous plan of any issues on there. And certainly there's an established use system within the city. I think the local city is going to get an extraordinary deal to have the state come in and deal with the vandalism, the trash, and deal with all that. And I hope it pans out. It does have a good connection with Prairie Spirit, but quite frankly, I wish that we would had another little bit longer time to do a little more vetting on some of this, and it seems to be odd. And I know it was a very important, popular project, but surely there's some grumpy old guy that would have been an opponent that lives in Iola. I can't imagine him not having somebody being an opponent on that thing, and it's fine. Like I say, I am going to support it, because of my past history and stuff with that, but I do have a little bit of concerns of overall how it was handled, just for the committee's information. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I can see what you're saying, Representative, but I think the state's going to get a good deal out of this if the economic impact that it generates comes to fruition. I really, my heart goes out to all those rural communities that are leveraging the assets that they have to get professionals to come to their communities, to create a great place to live. In a world with remote job opportunities, it's communities like those that are going to make the running, and that can only be good for the state budget long term. And so I'm very excited about this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually did get one email against it. I don't know if anybody else got it, but somebody sent an email to me against it.
I think everybody in the committee got that email, didn't they? Do you all have a state email address? No. Check your spam. Yeah, and that's why we brought it up. But also keep in mind.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, that's fine. Well, I said if it passes out of this committee, it's still got to get to the floor. It's got to go through the whole process at the Senate, and so maybe there's some things that we learned and that we can go from there. So, Representative Probst.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. As one of the resident cyclists on the committee, I think it's important to talk about how irresponsible cyclists are with money when they go to these trails. So
do we need more ATMs on the trails?
In all seriousness, though, I remember, I can't remember how many years ago, we did form a subcommittee to study trails. And one of the things that came out of that subcommittee report was how much better people feel when it's managed by Wildlife and Parks than a private group. They feel like there's somebody policing it. And I think this is, to me, this is a really good example of if you let an interested group of people take an asset and develop it and build something around it and then turn it over to the state so that it can be viable for a long time and managed well, I think that everyone wins in that situation.
Other comments? Representative White?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to kind of bounce off on Representative Black's. I just feel I'm a freshman. Boards I've served on, things come up like this, and we do our due diligence, and I just don't think it happened here. I think there's just so many questions I have that, gas wells, for instance, free. He said he'd give us gas wells. Well, is it a royalty interest or a working interest? If it's a working interest, that'll cost the state. 10 years from now, 15 years from now, I hope this isn't the wrong decision. It could cost us quite a bit. And I'm here to represent the state, people of this state. And, there's things that could happen here that I just not sure I felt like I did my due diligence. But I will support this and let the next person, I guess, do his due diligence. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Seeing none, Representative Gardner, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we close this motion and pass it favorably.
You have heard the motion. Need a second, right? Do I hear a second? Schling, I almost got it. Oh, he did. That's right. He did beginning. That's right. Okay. All those in favor of passing out House Bill 2331 favorably signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The FFA kids are going crazy because they said, this is not the way you're supposed to do parliamentary procedure. I know they are. I can see your eyes rolling. I was in 4-H 40 years ago. I forgot that. That's it. That's it. Well, in Agriculture, Natural Resources Committee, we deal with, and that was one of the natural resources things. So it's not always cows, plows, and sows. Sometimes we go into different things. And so, but you can see it's not necessarily a pleasant experience to get bills passed even out of committee, let alone when it goes to the floor. So that's what will happen now. And we will spend the next couple of days on the floor to go through these and other bills that were passed out so far in this portion of the session. With that, let's go to learn more about what's going on in Kansas. And so I see Mary back there. Thanks for being here. But also we'll call on Carly Albright. She is from Hoyt and the president of the Kansas FFA.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you for allowing us to be in front of you today as we are here at the Capitol to kick off National FFA Week. My name is Carly Albright, and I am currently serving as this year's Kansas FFA State President. My teammates here with me, Emma Kepley is from Riverton, Kirsten Kiger from Russell, and Aiden Yoho from Yates Center. It is an honor to share about agricultural education and Kansas FFA. To start off, I would like to introduce Tucker Leck from the Neodesha FFA chapter to present to you the FFA Creed, which represents the values and beliefs of our organization. Tucker competed in the State Creed speaking leadership development event at the Kansas FFA Convention last June. Due to his exceptional efforts, he was selected to represent Kansas at the national level in October. Tucker?
Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chairwoman Mosier, Madam Minority Ranking Member Carlin, and all members of this respective committee, I'd like to start off today by thanking the President of Kansas FFA, Carly Albright, for her continued leadership and service on behalf of Kansas FFA. And I think speaking on behalf of the entire membership body, we are truly thankful for her leadership and look forward to this year's state convention. I am here today, and it is an honor to stand before this committee. I do stand before this committee as a proud agriculturalist and as an FFA member who had the honor of being named the 2022 Kansas State FFA Creed champion, as well as a national finalist in Indianapolis later in October. Today, I'd like to present to you the FFA Creed, which was written by E.M. Tiffany, who was from the state of Kansas in 1928. And so after sharing the FFA Creed with you, I then have a few closing remarks. The FFA Creed by E.M. Tiffany. I believe in the future of agriculture, with a faith born not of words but of deeds, achievements won by the present and past generations of agriculturalists, in the promise of better days through better ways, even as the better things we now enjoy have come to us from the struggles of former years. I believe that to live and work on a good farm or to be engaged in other agricultural pursuits is pleasant as well as challenging, for I know the joys and discomforts of agricultural life and hold an inborn fondness for those associations which, even in hours of discouragement, I cannot deny. I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly with such knowledge and skill as I can secure, and in the ability of progressive agriculturalists to serve our own and the public interest in producing and marketing the product of our toil. I believe in less dependence on begging and more power and bargaining, and the life abundant and enough honest wealth to help make it so for others as well as myself, and less need for charity and more of it when needed, and being happy myself and playing square with those whose happiness depends upon me. I believe that American agriculture can and will hold true to the best traditions of our national life, and that I can exert an influence in my home and community, which will stand solid for my part in that inspiring task. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In closing, I'd like to emphasize to each member of this committee that the second paragraph is essential to me and to all of us who have a stake in Kansas agriculture. The beginning of the second paragraph says that I believe that to live and work on a good farm or to be engaged in other agricultural pursuits, which tells each of us, both in 1928 and in this year of 2023, that the agricultural industry and the work as leaders in this state's largest economic driver, that in order to be successful, we shouldn't focus on where a member of FFA comes from, or where a member of FFA or a citizen of Kansas comes from, but we should focus on the opportunities we provide each and every member and Kansan for growth and development that should determine their chance of living with prosperity in this state. Not only will this allow for a more sustainable future, but it will assist our economy and make Kansas's agricultural workforce the best of any state in this nation. Thank you all.
As Tucker mentions, the FFA Creed highlights guiding beliefs for agriculture that are still applied today in our classrooms. The beginning of the third paragraph reads, I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. I believe in my own ability to work efficiently and think clearly with such knowledge and skill as I can secure. This line encompasses much of what Kansas FFA strives to develop within its members. It is through the school-based agricultural education model that we can grow young leaders within the intracurricular classroom experiences that are offered. The school-based agricultural education model consists of 3 areas. First is classroom and laboratory, which gives students the ability to secure knowledge and skill that they are going to use while moving throughout their career path. Next is supervised agricultural experience. This allows students to create an agricultural project or business that is unique to them in their interest, and then continue on in building that through experiment and workplace learning. Last and most recognizable, because of our Blue Jackets, is FFA. FFA gives students the opportunity to grow in leadership and career-based skills through competition and experiences. Tucker is a prime example of a student who has benefited from the agricultural education model. Like his peers, Tucker had the opportunity through his Intro to Agriculture class to grow an understanding of different areas of agriculture and all within the agriculture industry. His teacher, Mrs. Lehman, who's also here with us today, then guided Tucker and his classmates to start their own supervised agricultural experience, with his being swine production. These workplace learning experiences give each student room for their passions to grow that will hopefully lead to careers within agriculture. Lastly, it was through FFA that Tucker competed against his peers at the local, district, state, and national levels to demonstrate his leadership and speaking skills through performing the FFA Creed. Through this model, agricultural education and FFA within Kansas impacts many high school students every single day. Currently, Kansas FFA has a membership of 12,499 students that are involved in 227 chapters. They have got leadership and guidance being provided by more than 290 agricultural education instructors and FFA advisors. These programs and chapters are within 103 of the 105 Kansas counties. This shows evidence of growth within both rural and urban communities. I would like to thank you all for your time today and your dedication to Kansas agriculture. Your support allows us to continue developing the next generation of leaders in agriculture. Thank you. If anyone has any questions for us, we would welcome them, both for myself or Tucker as well.
We will start those right now. Representative Mosier.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. Are you related to Corky Albright?
That's my grandpa, yes. Yep.
Yes, we used to live right north of the Delia area. And so
okay. Yep, that's my dad's dad.
You do him proud.
Thank you.
Questions or comments? Someone else? Representative Minix.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I can't let this go. 51 years ago, I went to junior college with a couple of the state FFA officer team at the time, President Brad Trexler of Graham County, yes, and Joe Brockelman from Sheridan County, I believe. And through the years, and I was an FFA member myself in high school, but through the years, I've watched those two individuals that were on the officer team raise kids and do an awesome job. We lost Brad a couple of years ago, but his wife and family in his community, I believe, benefited from his presence tremendously. And I hope you as FFA officers continue in agriculture and lend your expertise back to your home communities also. Thank you very much for what you're doing now.
Representative Seibert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to tell you I'm impressed with your ability to deliver, both of you, Tucker, and that's what I love about young agriculture leaders. They're great. They don't stutter, they memorize. And I remember that my granddaughter too was a FFA president, you know, in our town where I graduated too. And I was only the sentinel, I think is what I was called, you know. But she was also, so she's a third year at K-State in agriculture communications. So you guys are the future leaders, just exactly what the name implies, future farmers of America, but should throw leaders in there too. Thank you for what you do.
Representative Schlingensieben.
Mr. Yoho, did I hear you correctly that FHA across the country has somewhere in the area of, was it 850,000 members? Yes. FFA, I mean, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, it was recently reached the milestone of 850,000 members with across the nation.
That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, now before we let you go, got to tell my story. I was not an FFA, but I will tell you probably the reason why I am where I am is because of a guy named Frank Freeman, who was my father's FFA advisor in Phillipsburg, Kansas. Back in the 40s, he somehow saw something in my dad to say, you know what, maybe you should participate in public speaking. In fact, I have my dad's green green hand pen is one of the most prized possessions I have, and I keep it close to help us keep grounded. And probably because of that teacher that showed promise in a guy that was shy. My dad, I know, imagine that. but he, you know, was shy and just wanted to work on the farm. Mr. Freeman said, you know, I think you'd be good at this. And over the years, through the Army and other things, he went on to be very involved in agriculture. I think that spilled over. It's all because of that. And to teachers, you never know the impact you're going to make on a young person for their whole life. And I hope that some of you that go into ag education, that will be great. We know that Tucker's going to go into politics. He worked the whole building, I think, today. So he was right on. But no, that was great. And again, any final comments from you, Madam President?
I just want to thank you again all for allowing us to be here with you today and listening to what we have to say. If you ever have any questions about FFA or agricultural education, please reach out to us. We would love to chat.
We also want to thank a couple of the gals, be careful, the ladies that help you all keep things in place, Executive Director Mary Kane, and then head of the foundation, Beth Gaines, and they do great work as well. So again, want to make sure we get that out there. So again, thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Also, if you saw a bunch of folks running around today with the name badges from Research and Extension, that wasn't a big increase in FTEs that K-State did, but it is something that's called Citizenship in Action that took place yesterday and today, and so we're pleased to be joined by Emma Littich. Is that correct? And she is on the Kansas 4-H Youth Leadership Council, and she is the president. So, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. It's Emma Littich. Sorry, just to clarify.
Littich.
Yes, I am the State Youth Council President for 4-H, and it's such an honor to be here. I was able to speak with the chairman yesterday. We got to be on the House and Senate floors and debate some bills and teach that skill to our youth, and it was a great time and an honor to be able to represent Kansas 4-H here. I just wanted to share kind of my story of how 4-H has shaped me. I started 4-H at age 7, and I did it mostly because my mom told me to, but I quickly fell in love with it, and it has now become one of the greatest building blocks of my life. I've learned so many different career skills, such as public speaking and the civic discourse part of it, but I've been in projects such as clothing construction, so I learned how to sew, and foods and nutrition, and even performing arts. I've been in just about all the projects. I live in Lindsborg, as he mentioned, and I live in town. So, you know, raising livestock and that stuff kind of seemed out of the question. But 4-H really opened the door to allow me to get a better understanding of agriculture and the livestock and all the things that go into that I would have never experienced just at school or anything like that. Unfortunately, my school doesn't have an FFA chapter, but that's definitely something I would have looked into if we did. But through 4-H, I was able to get a better understanding of what agriculture was, along with so many other skills, and I've had the door open to many opportunities, such as this one, to be able to come speak with you all today, which is such an honor. I also want to mention that State Youth Council really appreciates. We wanted to thank you all for your support to K-State Research and Extension and all you're doing to support us. And we appreciate the opportunity to come speak with you all today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Emma? Representative Hsu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your presentation. It was really great. I think we all share the same question. Is how much better were the House chambers versus the Senate chambers?
This was my 6th year at Citizenship in Action, or CIA, and I've gotten to be on both the House and Senate side. And I will say, last night I was in the Senate side, and I think the House is less scary, per se. It seems a lot more friendly and homey.
Very good. All right. Well, again, thank you for sticking around. You're also a student at Kansas State. So
I am. I'm a freshman in elementary education.
Great. We need those too. So you're going to sprinkle a little ag education in there with you as well. So, well, Garrett, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chairman.
Thank you for participating in everything. Now, before we can let you go, we do have I need a favor. I need somebody to carry House Bill 2159. Remember what that one was? That was dealing with the directing the Secretary of Health and Environment to follow those, put the fees into the Water Program Management Fund. I know it's a little technical in nature, but we did it last year and it didn't make it all the way to the floor. We passed it out, but that's somebody I do not have to carry that bill. So if nobody volunteers, either I will carry it myself or have somebody else do it, like Representative Carlin. No, we won't. You want to do it? Okay, very good. Representative Shue, thank you. No, Representative Shue is.
Do you want Gary to do this other one? I mean, it's an easy bill and it would be.
He's doing a big transportation bill. I ask him. Okay, anything else for the good of the cause? Got you out in 30 minutes by the time we started. So just a quick reminder, we're on the floor, no meeting tomorrow, then we're on the floor, then the rest of at least the next 2 days, and then Friday we should hopefully be able to be gone for turnaround. At this time, we come back on Wednesday. I am not planning on meeting. So I'm not sure about the other committees, but you will not have a Wednesday 3:30 meeting after the first day after turnaround. Watch your emails just in case, and that is it. The other bills that we did not vote on today are still there. They'll probably be sitting there. We are going to have we did get a couple bills that came in that are either one's blessed, one came in for appropriations, and the Senate has 2 or 3 bills that we'll probably have. So we'll have some informational hearings and so on coming up in the second half. So just so you're aware of that. So with that, we will adjourn and we will see you on the floor.